My sleep, my focus, my free time, it all looks different now. As in, those things are almost non-existent.
You're watching the Wow podcast. I'm Jennifer Robin. This conversation is for informational purposes only and is not medical advice. Full disclosure is in the description.
Hi, friends. Today I want to share some news about where this podcast is headed and why it's changing in a way that feels more aligned, more honest, and more alive to me. Quick note before we dive in. If I sound a little different today, it's because I'm actually recording from the backseat of my car instead of my usual studio setup. Why, you may ask? Because right now, this is the only quiet spot I could find. I'm literally recording this the night before it goes live, and, well, you'll hear more about the two fluffy, lovable beings currently creating chaos in my world later in the episode. But first, let me share some news about where this podcast is headed. And before I say anything else, I want to start with gratitude. Thank you to the friends and listeners who've reached out by message, comment, or conversation to tell me how much you've been enjoying these Sunday Start Fresh mini episodes. That feedback gave me so much joy, especially since much of the stuff I share is extremely personal and feels kind of vulnerable. But I share these things because I think my stories help you recognize your own similar stories. These minis started as an experiment, a way to speak more directly, more simply, and more from where I actually am right now. Not from a polished conclusion and not from a mountaintop. And what I've heard from many of you is that these episodes feel more relatable, more usable, more like a conversation than a polished presentation. So I listened. Here's the big news. Our Sunday Start Fresh minis are expanding into full-length episodes. Instead of staying in that short mini format, these are now going to become 15 to 20-minute episodes, and we're moving them just slightly from Sundays to every other Tuesday. Tuesdays feel like a natural reset point. You know, you're already past Monday's chaos, but you still have the whole week ahead. And why are they now every other week? Because I need the extra time to create an expanded episode that I'm proud of. And I want to make sure we still have room for our guests to share their opinions too. I absolutely love interviewing people, and someday in the future, I hope to bring you even more guest episodes once my personal bandwidth expands. No worries. My solo episodes will still have the same spirit, personal stories, grounded reflections, practical insights you can actually use, as well as invitations to pause, reset, and look at your life with a little more clarity. This new, longer format will give us room to go deeper instead of just scratching the surface, and so we can really sit with the theme of the episode together. Now, along with this expansion, I'm also streamlining and revamping our guest episodes. Guest conversations will be a bit shorter, more focused with less bio, background info, and small talk, and more intentional about sharing actionable insights. Some of the little tidbits and small talk are really fun, and you might see them pop up in future YouTube shorts or maybe in some bonus materials. I don't know yet. I love meaningful conversation, but I also respect your time. And I want every episode to feel like it gave you something you can carry into your real life without any static that doesn't move the conversation forward. And honestly, this change is also about honoring my own bandwidth. You might know that I recently adopted 2 puppies, which has been joyful and chaotic and completely life-altering. We had a snowstorm here in New Hampshire today, so right now, my house is covered in muddy paw prints and beach towels and melting snow. And the only semi-quiet, calm spot I could find to record was in my car. My sleep, my focus, my free time, it all looks different now. As in, those things are almost non-existent. And instead of trying to white knuckle my way through the same schedule, I'm choosing to practice what I talk about, honoring what feels sustainable and making adjustments accordingly. This streamlined podcast format is going to help me show up more fully instead of stretching myself too thin. And I want to share why this change feels important to me. First, and this is something I want to say out loud more often, I am not a guru, not the be-all, know-it-all expert who has everything figured out and is perfect. You've heard me say this a lot, my friends. In my opinion, there is no such thing as perfect. But I'm a holistic wellness journalist, a detailed researcher, a writer, and I'm trained in a lot of modalities. And I'm also very much a person who is still learning, still growing, and still encountering, addressing, and learning from my own challenges every single day. I don't show up with this mic because I have everything figured out. I'm here because I'm curious, because I'm paying attention to my own life and growth, and I want to share what I'm learning in real time. Not from some place of, I've arrived, ta-da! But from the messy middle of actually living these questions and walking through personal growth right alongside you. And I feel like this longer format will give me room for that kind of honesty. I think it's going to allow me to explore ideas in real time, to say, here's what I'm noticing. Here's what I'm experimenting with. Here's what's helping me. And here are the things that I just don't know yet. I want it to feel like we're thinking out loud together, like we're processing together, and less like I'm lecturing from a stage. I've been there, done that, and that's not for me now. And that brings me to something else that's important to me going forward. This podcast is not for me. I want this podcast to feel relational, not one-directional. I'm genuinely open to conversation, to hearing what's resonating for you, what questions you're sitting with, and what you'd love to explore more deeply. And I mean that genuinely. I'm really curious. What are you working through right now? What wellness practices are you trying? What old patterns are you noticing? And what questions are keeping you up at night or waking you up in the morning? Some topics that I've been personally sitting with that I'd love to explore together are how to maintain any kind of wellness practice at all when life gets completely upended. Like mine is right now with these puppies. Did I do my Qigong today? Nope. Did I meditate? Nope. Did I eat healthy? I don't even know if I ate all my meals today, quite honestly. Stuff like that. I'm also forever exploring what it actually means to practice self-compassion instead of just talking about it, and how to honor my capacity without feeling like I'm giving up. But I want to hear what you want to explore. Visit omwowpod.com. That's the best way to find me, and know that I actually read every message that comes through. Nobody's screening my email. I'm intentionally keeping this open and human with space for real dialogue, whenever that feels natural. So, to recap, Sunday Fresh Start Minis are growing into full-length 15 to 20-minute episodes and moving to every other Tuesday. Guest episodes are becoming more focused and more actionable. And the heart of this show is staying exactly the same. Curiosity, honesty, and growth together. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for letting this podcast evolve in real time, just like we all do. I'm excited about this next chapter, and I'm glad that you're a part of it. My challenge for you this week is simple. Take a look at your own bandwidth and the demands that you're currently putting on yourself. Is there anything that you'd like to reevaluate? I don't believe in Superwoman, so I wouldn't suggest trying to be her. Have a fabulous week, my friends.